We are back at Chicagoland, and we are green on CW.
Great launch by both of those guys on the front row. You got to think the outside's better as we run around here. If he can pinch Brent Cruz down a little bit, we'll see what that momentum is like.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Oh, yeah, on the exit of 2
Massive.
right there. Connor was committed wide open around 1 and 2 on these mile-and-a-half racetracks. But Brent does a nice job sliding up right there in front of Corey Day.
Yeah, and the reason that works is you put that bottom car in such a compromising position air-wise. All these other cars, look at Jesse Love to the top in 3 and 4. Looking outside at Corey Day, wasn't able to quite get there. So he's going to try to pop the outside here down the front stretch. Trying to hold off the 9.
With the bumps, I thought it might be single wide, 3 and 4. We were thinking 3 wide, lap 1, just let it go.
Jesse Love with a lot of momentum right there, getting by Sammy Smith on the outside. He feel like he gave us a plan, and then he's aborted on lap 1. Didn't do what he said, but doing what he has to do to make up some ground here early on. Look at how wide that is. We talk about this racetrack and the multiple grooves as you get a look at Allgaier, who started a little bit deeper in the pack, trying to maneuver his way through the field.
Guy that's won here 2 times, racing 2.5 hours from his hometown. 15th right now, talking about driver 7.
And for Justin Allgaier, he was just looking for a clean bit of track, basically, as he's so far back in the pack. He's just trying to go where they're not. A couple of drivers moved up into 1 and 2 as high as he was running 3 and 4. He didn't want to see that. He wanted to let them hopefully have a clean lane to himself. He did the same thing down in 3 and 4, going pretty high up.
Get a good look at Chase Elliott. He's +5 as we ride on board here with the HendrickCars.com onboard camera. You see Chase, not really sure the lane he wants. He's just going to where there's some clean air, though. You see the car in front of him. 9 of Quap will go to the bottom. Chase went to the middle, got a little bit of a run. Probably in the preferred groove down here early on, being on the bottom. Oh, but he missed that apex just a little bit. I don't know if he'll have the speed he needs on the exit to complete the pass.
A little bit of a bounce there as the battle for 3rd heats up. Jesse Love going inside of Corey Day. 2 is up a spot.
And Jesse Love was super fast in the practice we had earlier today, and you're seeing that right now early on this race as Chase Elliott and Carson Quapple are side by side now, stuck that way, side drafting each other. This has brought Sheldon Creed and Sam Mayer, the HFT teammates, into the battle.
Well, there'll be a little more urgency from the 88 on the bottom right now to get this pass completed, because if he can't, he's going to be able, if he can slide up in, he can't, but it's then going to put him in a tough position with what Sheldon Creed decides to do.
Look at that side draft.
Massive side draft right there on the front stretch.
5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, wrestling for position. And the car's dancing around. And as they compete, here comes the 99 of Parker Retzloff. Very competitive early in stage 1.
See if Chase can time that momentum out. You see he's being very disciplined, lifting early on corner entry, then getting back to the throttle. Carson being on the outside can drive in quite a bit harder. It's a great shot we have here, the perspective of the 2 different lines they're running.
Yeah, to complete this pass, he's just got to almost overdrive the entry a little bit, but he's having to back up so much on the entry, and Carson Quapple's over to overtake him right there. He gets back down and gets away from being side by side.
Look at Creed ripping the outside there.
Well, and Parker, I think a lot of that is Chase just getting comfortable with this car, right? He's so used to what he races on Sunday, and he said in practice earlier today, he's like, look, I'm going to have to learn, and that's just being smart, being disciplined, not driving over your head. And you see right here, once they got single file, we're able to actually get away from Creed.
Jeb
54
Burton.
Taylor Gray.
Whoa.
Contact there with Jeb Burton in the 27.
Well, I'm going to say something happened earlier. Jeb's trying to side draft right there, maybe a little frustration with the 54 Taylor Gray.
It's a dangerous game to play with the pipes there out the right side. That left front could easily get cut down on those.
Allgaier continues to move forward. 21. Austin Hill really good on the 1.5 miles.
Look at how low the 7 can exit the corner. That's been his gift. He talked about watching Kevin Harvick race here all the years in the Cup Series and how good he was at entering low and then being able to exit low, and the momentum that he's able to carry. That 7 car, he will make it to the front before the night's over.
Dude wipes onboard camera. Anthony Alfredo coming off that top 5 finish last week, his first in a couple of years. Good car early for him at 11th as he's able to maintain the spot in front of Allgaier.
Justin's searching. He's been all over this racetrack from lap 1. We're into lap 9 here. coming to 10, and he's just all over looking, and you saw how good he was on the bottom, but he's having to try and find ways to make the top work if everyone's going to run the bottom in front of him.
But look at the momentum he had. You see Alfredo kind of countered right there. That's going to be frustrating for the 7, thinking he was going to run the bottom, and then he runs the top. It's a little bit of a guess as you go down the straightaway of where are they going to run, because ultimately you just want to run the different lines. You see now Alfredo's committed to that middle. I don't think I'd want to give the 7 the bottom as good as he was earlier right here. You can hear Anthony have to mess with the throttle, be a little cautious on exit.
Stage 1, 45 laps. We're 11 circuits in. Connor Zillett started on the pole. He's leading. He's led in 7 of his 9 starts this year. And this move was key to get ahead of the curve and take the top spot for driver 1. We're live at Chicagoland Speedway on 4th of July. Test your luck and make your power play by heading to your local lottery retailer to get in the game for tonight's estimated Powerball jackpot of $396 million. Decent amount of movement side by side here at Chicagoland Speedway. Lap 18, I should say, about 30 laps to go here in our opening stage. And Taylor Gray at plus 13 is one of those guys that's been very impressive in the early going, coming from 25th.
Yeah, he was turning some of the fastest lap times on the racetrack the last couple of laps. His momentum kind of got stopped when he got beside Justin Allgaier there a little bit ago into turn 1. So he's got to figure out a way to maneuver this pass on Justin Allgaier, but really fast race car for Taylor Gray early on in this race.
Well, and he drove right by Allgaier, and then they got into quite a battle, side drafting each other. And as you mentioned, he got stalled out, but the speed of that 54 early on has been really impressive. I felt like when the race started, it looked to me like the 7, just flying through everybody. But when you look at the 54s, we get a good look here of the side draft. You watch Taylor tries to get away. Justin, no. Come back down here, and I'm not letting you go right here. No, sir.
It's the second time it happened to Taylor Gray. That donut on the sides from Jeb Burton doing the same thing, but actually connecting. Oh, then almost just about the same thing right there. Like,
yeah, but
wondering why does that keep happening?
You look on the bottom right, he's actually been able to get by. The 54 has been able to run the bottom, the middle, the top. He can kind of go wherever they're not and is able to create speed, as we see. Great battle here right here with Corey Day and Brent Cruz. Corey Day, no surprise to be good on the long run. Searching around, you see him running that 3rd groove.
Jesse Love was able to get up to 2nd in the running order, and these two now dancing for 3rd. Chase Elliott is 5th right now, rounding out the top 5.
This track is awesome. I know there's been some debate of how many years are we going to get to come back here, but I'll tell you the drivers are going to argue they love being able to look at that. I mean, just everywhere you want to run on the racetrack. It's not like there's a preferred groove. It's just where do you need to be.
And that's Nick Sanchez in the 87 this week. After being out of the series for a few races, after AM Racing shut down, to have this chance in the 87 for a couple races is awesome to see him back.
And the team's done an impressive job. You think about what Austin Green was able to do on the road the last couple of weeks. And I'm just really excited about what we'll see next weekend at Echo Park Speedway in Atlanta, because Sanchez is a great drafter. He was 3rd there earlier this year before things fell apart and he kind of lost his ride for a while. But next weekend, you know, he'll be good, and he's trying to go back-to-back winning the summertime race at Echo Park Speedway. That'll be a lot of fun.
Got a monster run here on Ryan Sieg. Off the top side, cuts under him, clears him down into 3, and these are the kind of passes that you'll see all night. Now Ryan Sieg will probably have a little bit of momentum. He'll cut back to the inside. This is where it gets slightly frustrating. And then we got the battle for 10th on the left. Taylor Gray getting by Justin Allgaier. Now working on his teammate William Sawalich.
This battle 54-18 is significant when you think about where Gray and Sawalich were coming in relation to the chase standings, and the fact that the 54 starts 25th. So you're like, man, this is a missed opportunity to go out and get stage points. And he said, absolutely not. I'm going to drive up there and get them.
Yeah, and that's in the back of everyone's mind, is when someone starts in the back and you know they do, and all of a sudden they pass you, you know how quick their car is. If you're Sawalich or one of these guys that's on the bubble with them, you think you're going to be able to capitalize on this. But to see how quick, as we ride on board with William Sawalich and the Toyota Racing on board, 54, though, if you watch him right ahead, I mean, it's just, I'm telling you, he can go wherever they are. He just goes, look at that. He's like, you want to run the bottom? That's fine. But go right here through the middle and see the run that he can generate. He's going to probably get to the inside, get a little run on Retzloff on the exit here.
You just look at their season, and their margin over that cut line is not great. But you think about the fact that in 14 of the 19 races, they've had some kind of issue, including what we've talked about last week when the race ended. They run out of fuel last lap running top 5 at Sonoma. So his ability to bounce back has been impressive.
No doubt, Adam. And you know, we always talk about frustrations or the level of performance these guys have. 54 has speed every single week. They've had some unfortunate instances, but it's easier to swallow those bad days, or like what happened last weekend when you know you have speed in your car. They have 5 races left. These guys can get it done.
What about that 54 group, Dylan?
Let's give you a Toyota driver update on the early biggest mover, plus 15 from the start, trying to make it plus 16 here as he races Parker Retzloff for the 9th spot. Talked with Jason Ratcliffe and told you at the start of the show, they were a little bit concerned starting that deep about if they were going to be able to get a good read on the balance of their car tonight, but they made several changes in practice, and Jason said he felt like that gave them a really good idea of where the line is between being too free and too tight, and that was going to help them make their decisions for how to start the car when we went racing under these cooler conditions. So I'd say they've nailed it, and getting stage points certainly is something they thought that they could do, but I think this is a bonus, and he may not be done yet here with 19 to go. Maybe the best car on the racetrack.
Great stuff, Dylan. And the key for them now, when they get to these first stops, is to make the right adjustments to keep up with the track. When you're this strong early on a green racetrack that's starting to lay rubber like it is, it's going to change massively here. And everyone's had that chance in these first stops to make big adjustments. So the worst thing to do in their position sometimes is to not do anything because you think, oh, we're really fast. Everyone else makes adjustments to catch up, and the next run you're not as good.
Curious what's happening with Sammy Smith, back to 23rd in the running order. Here's their team radio.
Early min speed for sure. Brake bias. You can get anything there to help you. That was a better 3 and 4. I'm plowing in the front. No, doing all you can. Just maximize your lap time. Objective, stay on the lead lap. Minimize the bleeding. We'll get you a change.
Yeah, the tough part there is we talk about everything that was right for Taylor Gray. This is the flip side of that when it's wrong and you're just not correct. And then the worst part is a green racetrack, you're super tight. You start to get worried about maybe abusing that right front tire, left front tire. Cording becomes a problem at tracks like this that are high wear, and especially with no rubber on the racetrack. So they're just going to try and nurse this car back to the end of the stage. As you heard them say, stay on the lead lap. That's just goal number one at that point. Damage control in this position.
15 laps to go basically in the stage here. I'm curious what happens in that run to the green and white checkered flag and how all these drivers react late in a run. Our Mobile One leaderboard takes us to break. Zilich, Love, Day, Elliott, Cruz, the top 5. USAA proudly salutes the generations of military service members that made America's 250th possible. Closing on the end of the opening stage for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, Chicagoland Speedway. 9 laps to go in this first run of the race. Been very clean, been a good start to the event for Connor Zilic. Starts on the pole, got a 4-second advantage over second place Jesse Love. And the guy that started on the front row was Zilic. Brent Cruz fading a bit here late. He's back to 10th and could lose that spot. He saw his teammate get around him, William Sawalich, and racing here with Carson Kvapil.
Yeah, and you're going to see the 19 of Brent Cruz right here on the exit. See Carson slides up a little bit. It's going to put Brent Cruz in a vulnerable position. And a little contact right there with Joey Gase on his outside. That could have been huge, especially if you slide down through the infield right here, knowing how much rain we've had. It could be a day ender for you.
That's the slightest tap you could possibly have in this position where the car takes off like that on the exit of the corner. Did a great job to hang on to it. William Sawalich did a great job on the Brent Cruz radio.
Right front or something, man. The tightest I've ever been in my life.
Right, so we mentioned this about Sammy Smith, and we've heard this from a couple drivers. If you're tight on a green racetrack, the big fear is hurting that tire, those front tires, especially that right front. It sounds like to me, Brent Cruz possibly, we'll find out when he gets to stop, that could be a corded tire that's just lost all its grip. Now it's about just nursing it these next few laps and hoping it doesn't go down so you can get to the end of this stage.
Going to be a lot of work for the 19 team. Here's our pit crew view, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
A lot of tight cars today, and I think some of that is when it rains, the fear of being too loose at 1.5 miles. Tight is slow, loose you're in trouble. You can go a lap down really quick. So just wondering if some of these crew chiefs have maybe over-adjusted for the green racetrack. You know, we talked about Sammy Smith, Brent Cruz being too tight. The 7 of Allgaier, who you see right there, also complaining about the balance being really tight.
And Brent Cruz is about a second off in lap time right now compared to the others in the top 10. So he's really struggling at this time.
And they've been on Connor Zilic on the radio telling him, take it easy, don't. And he's not listening.
I don't know if he's listening.
He is driving away from the field, about 5-second lead. But we are going to regroup here in 5 laps. And I know we've talked about Taylor Gray. If they can have a good pit stop and come off, he clearly has a car that can compete with Zilic. I also think that Corey Day is another driver to keep your eye on. 17's been right against the wall. Look at that, right against the wall, being able to make lap time up. Gets a great exit right here. As high as he's running, it almost gives him great position. Jesse Love has moved up there as well. You get down to these 4 or 5 laps to go. We talked about, conserving tires. You just don't at this point. You go up and see what you can learn. But if you see how high that 17 is, you can almost see the dust where he's starting to stir that up. A lot of grip, big risk to do that, and some guys are really good at it.
Ah, that's so fun. It's the best when you get up on the boards like that and make lap time. You feel like you're Superman as Jesse Love responds by going to the top side in 1 and 2, as he's probably been hearing that Corey Day is up there making lap time. On the right side of your screen, you're seeing the battle for 10th in the stage. The last point, Viking Motorsports. Oh, Retzloff sliding up into his teammate Alfredo. Here's Cole Custer in the 0, and Allgaier slips away. Says, you guys sort it out amongst yourselves.
3 to go in the stage. Little wiggle for
close.
Corey Day, left of your screen. We talk so much about stage points, the importance of those, and we've really referenced a lot those guys from Joe Gibbs Racing and the Chase Cut line. But let's not forget, the battle for second right now is huge when you look at the regular season. And the guys second and third on track battling for that, Love and Day, as we'll hit 2 to go, stage 1 this time around.
See Jesse Love will kind of turn down off the corner. It's a little easier line to run, gives you a little straighter exit. But if you can do what the 17 is doing and enter right against the wall and carry that speed all the way around, that exit that it allows you to have and the lap time that you can make up all the way down the straightaway is huge. You see Chase Elliott, we got both Hendrick.cars.com cars running right against the fence.
And I think that was a great visual representation of how committed Corey Day was to entering on the wall. You could see how straight he was and up against it right on that entry into 1. Chase giving himself a little barrier there. He's a little bit off it and then slides up next to the wall. That's where you're just feeling it out, trying to get more comfortable with running up there compared to where Corey Day's flat right on it.
Is it Chase Elliott or Kyle Larson driving the 88 tonight?
We haven't really talked about Chase Elliott, but you see he's in 4th position right there. Lap times look really good. Doing a great job today for the first time being in an O'Reilly car in a while.
Yeah, going to school, stage 1, and he's already in a great spot when you talk about track position, but doesn't have what his teammate has. Another guy doing double duty this weekend, going to lead them all in the opening stage of the race. Connor Zilic, wire to wire, gets his 5th stage win of the year. It's one behind Allgaier for the most. And the battle for stage points. You got Allgaier in 9th, Quapple in 10th, and here comes Alfredo now trying to get a stage point as well. Good battle at the line. Allgaier ends up 9th, Alfredo 10th in the final running order, stage 1. Love and Day getting some good points. Sheldon Creed comes back to get 5th, and Taylor Gray from 25th to 6th. Happy 4th of July, stage 1 done at Chicagoland Speedway.
That's really good.
I just want them.
Here, take it. Hey, I don't want all that.
What do you mean? You're just satisfying?
NASCAR on the CW is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people. And by Progressive. Save when you bundle motorcycle, RV, and boat insurance. Visit progressive.com. Stage 1 complete. Chicagoland Speedway for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Let's go down to the RV's pit box in Carla.
Thanks, Adam. And of course, no one is happier to see Chicagoland back on the schedule than Illinois native Justin Allgaier, who said, I remember everything about this track when it was built, the fact that the round back straightaway was built so that fans could actually see the action. He mentioned how important it was that it was one of the first asphalt tracks in the area, mentioning how many dirt tracks he grew up around. When you couple that with his first win with longtime sponsor Brandt back in 2014, he said that that was almost as special as his first series win at Bristol. Of course, he would love to replicate that today. Started 17th, but has moved up at least 7 spots, Adam.
Yeah, and problems for his teammate, Carla.
Man.
Connor Zilic wins the opening stage, and a fuel problem for the one group. Here's team radio.
I lost fuel pressure. All right, right on the flat. So you cycle your power and everything. I got nothing. It's 10-4.
That's heartbreak.
It's like it never ends, the bad
Yeah.
luck that he's experienced here in 2026. All right, they'll get things buttoned up there. We go down to Progressive Pit Road and Kim.
Yeah, you see Corey Day, top of your screen in that 17 machine, said felt good, just got slightly tight late in the run for 88 Chase Elliott. He said, all good. I don't think I need anything. Moments where I got a little snug, but then I calmed myself down and put better corners together. So he said, I feel like it's in my control. Dylan?
Sheldon Creed said he was building tighter that run, but don't change much. I like what it's doing. For Jesse Love, said the car was doing the same thing as it was in practice. He was free on corner entry, then a little tight at the end of the run in the center. Small air pressure adjustment to get the nose lower and a track bar adjustment to help his exit.
The always important race off Progressive Pit Road, +2 for Chase Elliott, who will be in control of the race. Jumping out in front of Jesse Love, Corey Day, Taylor Gray, and Sheldon Creed. In celebration of America's 250th, the CW and GovX are honoring the stories of military families and first responders who give so much to help their fellow Americans.
My grandfather saw his duty to take care of his family and go serve the country.
My uncles were both in the military, my brother's in the military, and I always admired all of their service. My path was the fire department.
In all my interactions as a nurse, I feel like I'm doing exactly what I was supposed to do. I have lived my dream, really.
The whole mission of it is to help other people, and if everyone does that, we're living in a better world.
Presented by GovX. Savings for those who serve.
Let's take a look at today's Clean Pass of the day, brought to you by Dude Wipes. Wet cleans better than dry. Anthony Alfredo getting it done. This was snug.
And an assist from Cole Custer there. Bump down the backstretch. The Dude Wipes pass with the Dude Wipes car. That's synergy.
All right, let's do a report here, Team 19, and that would be Brent Cruz, who's fallen back here a little bit. What's the story? What was their problem late in the run, Dylan?
Yeah, well, and he had faded to 20th by the end of the first stage. He'd come on the radio and said he felt like they had a bad right front, and when they took it off the car, it basically had looked like it had started to unwind the rubber from the tire. It almost became like a grooved tire. It had worn out so much. So the pit crew actually did a pretty good job here. He's going to restart 12th, so gain some spots back on pit road. But here's that right front right when it came off of the 19. So that's obviously not ideal, and that explains what Brent was feeling and why he was dropping so many spots.
Well, and his teammate had a problem too. Safety violation for William Sawalich in the 18 group. Would have restarted 6th. He'll come from the back after the penalty. Free pass goes to Jeb Burton, and Connor Zilich was able to get to pit road, get it filled, and he stays on the lead lap. Here's the penalty for Sawalich.
Oh. It was over the line, but it fell over. The crew member out there.
There's been a lot going on in this race.
Yeah. And just for Connor Zilich, one thing to note is that we ran a lot of pace laps there when we were drying the track. And those JRM cars, Hendrick Power, they've been winning races. They have a lot of power in the hood, but they've been getting pretty bad fuel mileage compared to the past. Sound like maybe they just ran out of fuel.
By the way, Brandon Jones, you see him there in your screen outside of row 5 for the restart. He made up some ground on the pit lane. Stage 2 underway. Chase Elliott, the control car, outside of Jesse Love. Here we go from Chicagoland.
Saw that outside prevail on the initial start. Again, Chase Elliott gets a big run on the outside, but Love able to slide up right there in front of Corey Day. Gets himself in a good position. All these guys get to regroup now. The amount of grip that these cars are going to have versus where they ended at the end of that stage, it's going to be massive. It's a second and a half, 2 seconds a lap faster than what they were running there. Everybody gets another shot at getting the balance where they need it to be.
And if you had tire wear issues in that first stage, those should start to alleviate themselves just a little bit with the rubber that's now laid onto the racetrack. You can push a little harder, here, but you do have to have that in the back of your mind just a little bit about going to the top side early in these runs, trying to just make sure you take care of those tires and make them last if we get another long run.
The only thing good, Parker, though, is that a lot of guys are running up high, so that brings that top groove in a little bit better. And we did see Corey Day, we saw Chase Elliott, some of those guys running up there, and they were able to survive and not have tire issues. So I think the track is rubbered in. To me, the big thing's about getting your balance where you can maneuver around like we saw Taylor Gray being able to do.
Brent Cruz already jumped back inside the top 10, racing Carson Quapple for 8th. His teammate Brandon Jones didn't have a great starting spot. Mentioned how they were able to manage the exchange on the pit lane, gaining some track position.
And both of those cars there, Brent Cruz and Carson Quapple, faded late in that stage. So they'll have that in their mind as we go on the RB's onboard here with Carson Quapple. About just taking care of those tires and make them last.
Look at the run that the Brandon Jones has on the outside run, just a little bit higher there. He was quiet that first round, but we're going to see some different cars be fast right here because of the racetrack being green. Some of the guys that maybe struggled a little bit that first run, that track could possibly come to them. One of them possibly being Justin Allgaier, you see right there on the inside of Sheldon Creed.
See if he's able to clear Creed down here. Not quite. Sheldon's gonna have the momentum on the exit of 2.
You see Taylor Gray hopping behind him.
Look at all 3 of those guys going in, just trying to get their left front fender a little bit out in front. You see Gray get a little bit loose as Allgaier pulls down in front of him.
Justin got a little bit loose at the same time over that bump. Synchronized slide right there.
Brent Cruz lined up behind these guys, just hoping all of them will make a decision and go to one side so he can go somewhere a little bit different. He's feeling good that new right front tire on the car, kind of a reset.
And once you've laid rubber on the track over a long run like we had in stage 1, that top side isn't really available to you really right off the bat. They pick up all that rubber under caution. It's on the bottom side, and it's gonna take a few laps to get the high line working like it did at the end of stage 1. So you just gotta make it work down on the bottom, maybe the second groove, but eventually that top line's gonna come in.
And the high line's not necessarily faster on new tires. It's when the pace slows way down that you're able to get that top side to roll. As we get a look right here of Connor Zilic, who had the fuel issues. We came to that stage break, but it has not slowed him down, and I don't think his day's over just yet.
Plus 12 since the restart. 13th in the running order is driver 1.
Absolutely flying through the field.
Well, I'm sure some added,
demoralizing if you're sitting there like, wait a second, where did he come from?
added motivation, though, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
a little bit.
You win the stage, you feel dominant, you're compromised, and now it's like, okay, I'll go get it. Good battle here for 5th on track, Gray and Creed. It's Chase Elliott leading at Chicagoland Speedway. Brought to you by Cerakote, the top detailers in the world. Trust Cerakote, shouldn't you? Closing on midway point, stage 2, O'Reilly Auto Parts Series racing at Chicagoland Speedway. Chase Elliott is here, leading laps at this place for the first time since back in 2015.
You want to know why he's a NASCAR Cup Series champion?
Tell me.
What did he say to us in practice today? I'm going to feel it out. I haven't been in one of these cars in a while. We'll see if I get comfortable. He's leading right now, driving away, 2.4-second lead. I think he's comfortable.
Yeah, and the one thing I noticed as we were on board with Chase Elliott just a second ago was the line he was running. We referenced Corey Day, and he running right against the wall earlier in the race. Now you see all these guys, they're all running like the third groove. They're able to find speed right there, whether it's because the track's a little bit cleaner there or that's just where the grip is right now. We'll have to pay attention, though, as the pace slows down, see if those guys get all the way back up against the wall. That is a way easier line, though, to run. But you see both now. You see on the right-hand side of your screen, those guys have moved back to the top. I like that the 88, though, is not having to use all the racetrack. That's almost like having a little bit of fuel in reserve. You're like, well, if I need to make up some more lap time, I can move up the racetrack and have that.
How about the race leader, Kim?
Yeah, Chase Elliott, P1, and after practice had a good conversation with crew chief Marty Lindley where he joked, although I think he was being pretty serious, that Chase is his new favorite driver. Remember, the two of them have never worked together, and I asked what he liked about Chase that he maybe doesn't see in some other drivers he's worked with, and he said, look, he's got accountability, he doesn't complain, and he gets after it. We saw that during the first stop. You guys remember I said that he felt a little snug, but calmed himself down and felt like he put better corners together when he thought about what he was doing more and felt like he was in control, and that's something his crew chief really appreciated, just the initiative he takes to figure out what he needs on the racetrack versus asking something more of the car.
Good point, Kim. Basically what you're telling me is the crew chief wants someone who just drives and doesn't complain about it. have you had crew chiefs like that, Jamie?
That's what all the crew chiefs want.
Yeah, wait a second.
Do your job and I'll do mine.
I was talking to Marty, though, last week at Sonoma, and he was already anticipating the runs he was going to have with Chase, and just what a racer he is. I mean, just committed, loves to do it, happy to be here, and we talked about the fact that he's racing tonight. We'll see him again in the 88 in Indianapolis in a few weeks, but need to have a series champion back here competing at a place where he's been to victory lane.
These two are having quite the battle tonight.
Gosh,
I feel like
they
every
are.
time I look up, Taylor Gray and Justin Allgaier going back and forth, side drafting, trying to figure out who belongs where.
Well, I love that Gray is putting himself in position for the final stage, because what we saw at Kansas, they were there, and then they were able to work the strategy to a way where they were able to gain track position through a green flag cycle. If you're outside the top 10, it's hard to do that. They're in position here after starting 25th.
And if you're watching the 41 there, Sam Mayer, that's reminiscent of a famous moment at this racetrack.
Yes. Go ahead and say it.
Back in 2019, slide job. That's what he attempted to pull off right there. He got it done, but then lost all his momentum when they exited 2, and Corey Day slipped right back by. But Sam Mayer told us he's watched a ton of races, and he took notes, apparently, of how the passes have tried to be done down to turn 1.
And if you watch right here, he's going to do it again. He'll overdrive the entry. Oh, Corey Day, it almost looks like let him go right there. Probably looked in his mirror and saw what else was back behind. Good decision there. Corey had to run low now, knowing that Mayer was going to want to run high. You know, Adam, you referenced Taylor Gray a second ago, and the one thing that I really like about the 54 car is the line he can run. You see all these guys running the top. Watch that 54 car. He's not scared to go to the bottom. And I don't know that that's the fastest line for him, but he can make some lap time up and able to get up beside these guys. You see Corey Day now struggling just a little bit, got some dirty air, lost some momentum, lost a couple positions in one lap.
I wouldn't be a good gambler, because just when I'm ready to put money on a guy to get a spot, he loses 2. I mean, the back and forth really has been something.
Look at the line that Corey went to, though. That's where he was good just a second ago. I talked about him losing speed. Look at the run he has down the back right here. Again, going to enter right against the wall. And I said it with Chase Elliott. He got loose as he turned down the racetrack. He knows that he can find some lap time up there. It's a little bit dangerous, but he had massive speed down the back. Yeah, we agree.
He said that way more calmly than I would have anticipated.
And it's so hard to run the wall when you're free. I always think of that as a place you can go as a crutch when you're a little bit tight, but you're free. You see him having to turn down off the wall. That line you referenced, man, that is so tough because you're just on a razor's edge next to that wall. It's a game of inches up there. You don't have room to slip up at all. And when it's on the right rear as well, that can be really tough.
15 laps to go, stage 2. Chase Elliott continues to lead, and this track continues to produce. A lot of highlights already. Look at this. 17 to Corey Day. Give a little love to Justin Allgaier. 8 laps to go, stage 2. It's the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series racing at Chicagoland Speedway. Carla Metz, Kim Kuhn, Dylan Welsh on the pit lane with Parker Kligerman, Jamie McMurray. I'm Adam Alexander. Starting to see a little fog roll in after all the rain we've had, the moisture in the air. Chase Elliott leading this thing, coming to 7 to go, second stint of the race. And Justin Allgaier is 4th. Let's get 7 team radio. Look out, he's hanging on to it.
Holy moly, that fireworks smoke. I just told the guys, I said, man, it started to look like Charlotte.
We agree. That's exactly what we thought.
Well, I wasn't in the booth with you guys at Charlotte, but I can see across the backstretch as we look back.
Oh, this
situation
was incredible looking out of the booth.
I'm telling you.
You could not see across the racetrack.
I mean, the 2-box live to tape doesn't look a whole lot different in the imaging. Ross Chastain able to ride it out, get a win in the 9. Been wanting to do that. And then honored Kyle Busch with the bow post-race. That 9 team's had a good year, 3 wins. One last week at Sonoma with Shane Van Gisbergen. Got that 1.5-mile victory at Charlotte. Let's go back and watch Allgaier. This was something.
Whoa, yeah, he got loose. Even, I mean, it wasn't contact or even an arrow thing. I think it was just him trying to keep it off the wall. Got a little loose there, but the 7 started mid-pack and is just slowly, Justin Allgaier his way, slowly to the front.
Now a verb.
Going to get to regroup here in a little bit. This guy right here, though, see, he's moved up the racetrack just a little bit. We ride on board with him. It's a great perspective. Look at him sawing on the wheel. Watch his head, though, against the headrest. It's going down the backstretch right here. We've talked about all these bumps. He's actually going to run the bottom, so we'll get a little better. He's going to run through the middle right here. See his head bouncing. The eyes are always so interesting to me. He'll look in the mirror right here to see what kind of gap he has behind, judged off the corner that he ran.
I love how relaxed you get on the straightaway. And you can see it. The hands come off the wheel.
Yeah.
His face relaxes. His body relaxes. And then you get super tense down the corner. And that's just every time you're in a race car, that's the natural way that's going to happen. Because the corner is the moment you're just absolutely at the edge. You see that with the wheel movements. That's because he's just at the edge of the grip of the right rear tire. Now trying to get below the 07 here. And now relax. And then it tenses back up, back in the corner.
Yeah, and he's doing something very similar. We saw his teammate today, Connor Zilic, do right towards the end of the run. The lap time difference really starts to separate. And he's in dirty air, still able to drive away. Connor's made his way back up to 9th. Has a fast car, but similar like we saw with Taylor Gray on that first stage. They make up a bunch of ground on the new tires, but it just seems like they stall out just a little bit.
But he's back in it, though. I mean, this is the kind of run that he had to have in stage 2 to put himself back in contention. And so now you're going to get a reset here. You get a pit stop, maybe get a couple of spots on the pit lane, and you're really in good position with a fast race car. Zilic led 48 laps, won the opening stage before he had the fueling issue. Chase Elliott second in the laps led category. He's led 39 and well on his way to winning the second stage of the race.
It's always so interesting to me, Parker, where people put their hands on the wheel.
Oh, yeah.
And like what's comfortable to you. To me, what I see out of Chase Elliott looks comfortable. It looks kind of normal. Carson is more of like a 11-1 guy, maybe, not a 10-2. You see
the tug, move the left hand up.
So he's a puller,
different style,
right?
Yeah.
Like he goes down the corner and he'll pull with his left hand. Some guys will feed it with their right hand, and it's just whatever is comfortable to you inside the car, and it's just a natural reaction that you have.
Everyone is different.
When you're out front, you're leading by 2.5 seconds. Everything feels a little smoother, right? Final lap, stage 2. Here comes number 88. Chase Elliott going to get it done. Good work from the crew. Great restart from the driver, and he executes a stage win. It's his second career stage victory. His last stage win came in the 2018 season opener at Daytona. Love with great stage points tonight. Gray gets 3rd. Allgaier up there in the top 5 with Sam Mayer. Jones, Creed, Day having productive evenings as well. We're live in Chicago. NASCAR on the CW is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people. The Credit One Bank NASCAR American Express card. And by Progressive Insurance. Get in the savings lane today. Visit progressive.com. As we head into the next stage, it's time to fuel up with Arby's new Angus cheesesteak. With 100% Angus beef, melty Cooper cheese, and a toasted Amoroso's roll, it's exactly what you need to finish strong. Race to yours by texting RACE to 27297 to get notified about Arby's exclusive deals. Order your cheesesteak in the Arby's app today. 2 stages down, Chicagoland Speedway. Jeremy Clements having an issue.
Yeah, this was
unexpected.
Yeah, to say the least, especially for him. He's going to lose the left rear wheel here. And that wheel is going to continue.
He raced it back to pit road.
Yeah, it came all the way back around to go into the infield. They dragged this car on the left side frame rail all the way around. And here's the tire and wheel going into the infield.
I think
just missed the Menards logo.
I'll tell you what, Parker doing the play-by-play of that whole process was great.
Well, thank you.
I think the
I've been
safety
auditioning.
workers,
How'd I do?
That's
I
great.
think the safety workers did rock, paper, scissors to figure out
Your
who had to
turn.
chase it
Your
into the
turn.
grass because
That's
it was wet and muddy out there.
Well, we've got a left rear wheel on this time.
A little bit of body damage, not bad.
Yep.
Whelen caution lights are on as we wrap stage 2. The same Whelen emergency lights and sirens you see on the safety vehicles here at the track are protecting first responders and communities all across America. Only cautions tonight for the stage ends. Connor Zilic won stage 1. Chase Elliott stage 2. It's a junior motorsports sweep tonight when you talk about the stages, but a nice mix there when you look at the top 10. RCR with a good night coming for Jesse Love. Taylor Gray getting it done. Good stage points for Joe Gibbs Racing. Sam Mayer up there for the Haas Factory team. And now we get a little radio communication presented by Starkey.
This fireworks smoke is wild. I can't breathe in here hardly. It's crazy. Yeah, visibility went down quite a bit. I can still see you fine, but it sucks. Yes, it does.
Now, I got to tell you,
I think
The debate here.
I could lose a bet, but I would put a lot of money on fog over fireworks smoke.
Yep.
I don't know.
I don't
a lot
know.
of fireworks around.
There have been. I mean, it is the 4th of July as we celebrate America's 250th. Progressive Pit Road is open. They're heading your way, Kim.
And Adam for the Brandt Chevrolet of Justin Allgaier. He reported free landing entry, tight middle, okay exit. He feels like he's just on top of the racetrack with the right front. So it looks like maybe a tick slow there on the right side. They'll take 4 fresh tires, air pressure, and fuel. For Chase Elliott, he said, felt good until the end. Felt like I got the rears hot. He said, there's things I can do to help, but wouldn't be too bad to be locked down just a touch more, Dylan.
Taylor Gray said that he was edgy on corner entry, but started free and then got tighter to a good spot on the long run. Jesse Love said that he was a number 2 free the entire run. They're going to do some right side air pressure just to try to get him a little bit more comfortable on corner entry.
Thank you, Dylan. The race off Progressive Pit Road. Joe Gibbs Racing has been stout on the pit lane all year, +2 for Taylor Gray. Jesse Love comes off second, and here's Chase Elliott coming in.
Oh, he had to go around Jeremy Clements. It cost him 2 spots as he exited pit road. Just wasn't able to get in there as fast as he needed to.
See if he can rally from behind. Final stage coming up.
Happy 250th birthday, America. Happy 250th birthday, USA.
Happy 250th birthday, America.
Happy 250th anniversary, America.
Happy 4th of July and happy 250th anniversary, America.
Love that from all the drivers, and it's time for the Let 'em Cook replay presented by Graza, the official olive oil and mayonnaise of NASCAR. So riding on board William Sawalich. I mean, this night has just been full of aggression, and you got to go get it. And as you watch Sawalich make this move, I want to highlight Nick Sanchez in the 87 here. He actually had been scored a lap down. NASCAR said we had that wrong at the end of stage one. They've corrected it, given him a lap back. So he's on the lead lap now. Nick Sanchez is scored in the 26th position. Free pass goes here to LeVar Scott. And we follow up with Justin Allgaier, who had a penalty when they made their pit stop. They were inside the top 10.
Help catching the tires. Their foot was on the hot side of pit road.
Man, that's frustrating, especially at this point late in the race. You know he's got a fast car, but it's really hard. I think he had a car capable of winning. You get the right restart, but to have to go to the tail end of the longest line now with that penalty, things are going to have to play way into his favor to get back up there.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the importance of Connor Zilic making a run in stage 2 to get back in contention. And now Allgaier's going to have to do it in the final stage. Makes it very, very difficult. He was 4th before they came to pit road. So Taylor Gray's going to be in control. And we've just been updated here. Bottom right of your screen, the fella here in the black shirt stepped onto a hot pit road. He's in the opening. You can't really see the opening there, but there was an opening, and that's what allowed him to get around the pit lane, and he was penalized. There you see it.
Yeah, and there's the opening where the cameraman is right there. You saw it when they panned left. The official was standing right there, and his foot went over that line. You can't do that.
Gray, Love, front row. They're coming through the Poet restart zone. Final stage at Chicagoland.
Taylor Gray spreads out trying to get away from that side draft, but Jesse Love is there. Can Love clear him? I think he's going to at the exit of turn 2. Look on the top. Look at Chase Elliott having this huge run on the outside.
Inside lane prevailed on the restart for the first time tonight as Love gets the lead. 3 wide for a second behind him.
Chase opting to run that kind of third groove around there as Taylor Gray just got swallowed up on that restart. Jesse Love's gonna have to go to full defense mode here with the 88.
Sheldon Creed had a great move to the bottom to slot himself into the top 5. Was able to gain 2 positions doing that. Now goes to the middle, looking the outside of Taylor Gray.
Brent Cruz dove to the apron that last time around. 19 starting to feel it up.
Grip
Zero's
level.
Cole Custer.
Yeah, the grip levels went up for all of these guys as it continues to cool off into the night here. Get these fresh tires on. Gonna have possibly their longest run of the night here. We go green. Adam mentioned hadn't really had any cautions tonight other than the stage breaks.
You saw Connor Zilic going below Corey Day there. He's got to make up time right now before it starts to get really spread out as Jesse Love tries to hold off Chase Elliott, who go on board here with 2 different lines here down to 3 and 4. Jesse's going up the racetrack a little bit.
This is hard to defend if the 88 gets that momentum. See, he's now going to slide down to the inside.
They race for the lead. Right of your screen, things getting dicey as well. Day going after Zilic. Here's Chase Elliott. Boy, look at the 88 wiggle as he goes after Jesse Love for the point.
Well, we saw that earlier in the race. He was very timid on the entry. This gets down to the end. I think we see a little different Chase Elliott on how aggressive he'll be right there. Clearly has a little bit of a quicker car, but Taylor Gray, who struggled on the restart, is now back there.
Well, we got a lot going on the right side of the screen. The other HendrickCars.com car there of Corey Day getting super sideways. As Chase Elliott gets the bottom of Jesse Love.
I was ready to say all clear, but he just can't slide up. Love the rally outside. 3-man dance for the lead at Chicago.
And you said timid, Jamie, about Chase Elliott on the entry. It seems that way, but maybe it's disciplined a little bit. You know, he's just getting such good runs.
Yeah.
He's just not overdriving the entry. He doesn't have to take excessive risk on the entry of the corners, and is still able to get to the inside and beside Jesse Love to use the side draft.
He'd like to get to the outside. Love has given him the bottom, but it's harder to complete that pass because of not wanting to be overly aggressive.
Did he do it there? Not quite.
Gonna be close.
This is where you do have to just try and be a little over the top. There he goes.
Oh, look at him sawing on the wheel inside of it as it slides up the racetrack.
With you, right with you in line. Still half bottom, right with you inside corner.
He'll give Love the inside right here because just as we talked about, so much harder to complete that pass, and the 88's been so good at creating that momentum he needs on the outside. It's Jesse Love. Can't really go back on the offense because he's got Taylor Gray right up behind him.
Sheldon Creed going in the wrong direction, getting a report maybe a tire problem there.
Right front.
Oh, he had a great restart.
You know, they had that run of 4 consecutive races where they dealt with some issues, but the last few weeks had righted it and had 3 straight weeks inside the top 10. Unscheduled pit stop for Sheldon Creed. Now, everybody is going to have to pit in the final stage, but for Creed, you're outside the window, so really no way to connect this and make it work unless we get some cautions and they're the beneficiary of that situation.
See, Jesse Love has already opted to move up just a little bit. His car doesn't look that far off from these 2 guys in front. Just seemed like he didn't fire off quite as good after they ran 4 or 5 laps. Taylor Gray, though, continues just to try to get a little bit to the inside of all these guys, get a little bit of clean air. So you see Corey Day packing a little bit of air on Connor Zilich right here, slides him up the racetrack. Of course, what goes around comes around.
I think
that's how he got so sideways.
A hand out the window.
That's sending a message. Did not appreciate.
Hey, I got to tell you what. I mean, Chase Elliott, Cup champion, O'Reilly champion. We know how talented he is. He's been great tonight. But you have got to give a lot of credit to Taylor Gray. Starts 25th, coming off the disappointment last week. But he's been so good tonight. Second, when you talk about points earned. And as we hit lap 110, going for the race lead. 54 strong at Chicago.
See Chase looking out of his left side mirror right there as he saw the 54 pop up. It's a strong move by Taylor Gray to be able to complete that on the inside. Chase is going to try to cross him over, but I just feel like the 54 is going to be in the preferred position, carry that momentum on the exit. He'll be able to pick the throttle up right here. Have a little bit of a gap here as they exit the corner.
And that 54 reminds me of what it looked like in that first stage when he ripped through the field. Just has great entry stability and then turns well through the center. Just look how he got straight to the bottom there, drives away.
I'm impressed
Chase Elliott.
Goes to the bottom. Yeah, we've seen all these guys want to run the middle and higher to have the speed, and Taylor Gray can manage that and get right to the bottom of the track.
When the car's really good, you can just go to the preferred groove.
Over halfway home, round 20 for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. We do our Mobile One leaderboard to break on CW. Gray in front of Elliott, Love, Brandon Jones, and Sam Mayer. And now we do our golden moment, brought to you by Golden Corral. Taylor Gray going after one of the best, getting the lead away from Chase Elliott.
Been pretty impressive to see how fast that 54 car has been all night long. Chase Elliott obviously won stage 2. It looked like he was going to have control of this race, but Taylor Gray, that car started off good, got a little kind of even kill in stage 2, and then has come to life again here in the final stage.
Allgaier had the penalty, so he has to come from the back. He's already back up to 13th as he goes around his teammate Carson Kvapil, riding with Alfredo, who's having another good night, inside the top 15.
Not a really competitive night for Viking Motorsport. Parker Retzlaff there just outside the top 10. But they've continued this momentum that they had at the road courses as he passes. Oh, almost. Now he does pass. Clears him, that's tight.
Kvapil disagrees.
Yeah, he's like, nah, I don't really want you in front of me. Not at all.
Carson will not be sharing the Arby's coupons with Alfredo next week.
So frustrating when you're on the bottom of one of those cars and you can't get that pass completed because of the momentum that the outside car has. See Carson's able to kind of counter here. You see Alfredo went to the bottom. See if he can build up any momentum here on the exit. Looks to me like Alfredo had a great corner right there running the bottom of turns 3 and 4.
Carson faded at the end of stage 1. I just haven't really seen anything great out of that race car as Brandon Jones looks the inside of Jesse Love here.
It's been quiet. We haven't talked about Brandon, but again, he's moving up. We know how good he is on mile-and-a-half race.
It's just his personality, right?
Yeah.
I mean, here he is. He doesn't have a great starting position because qualifying's rained out and he wasn't, great last week at Sonoma. But here he is, a mile-and-a-half, and once again, the 20 finding their way, Dylan.
And he kind of called his shot talking to Kim in the pre-race, right? He said there are so many similarities here to Kansas where they run so well. So they expected this, and Sam McCauley told me the same thing, the crew chief. He said, we won't be at the back for long. And remember, they did the tire test here in April. That was super beneficial for the whole company. I think you see that evidenced by how good the 54 has been as well. But Sam said, as everybody else gets better with laps, we feel like we're still going to be a step ahead of everybody because of that tire test. So you've seen that. The track has changed a lot. They've been on it from the jump. They're now up 26 spots from the 29th position where they started to 3rd for the 20 and not showing any signs of slowing down. They're good on the long run.
Here's what I would say, though, when you talk about Brandon Jones. I referenced it in our rain fill. When you look at the playoff tracks, the chase tracks, they set up really well for Brandon because there's 3 mile-and-a-halves there. Okay, what about his teammate, Taylor Gray, who won at Kansas, and tonight has just been unbelievable, and you wonder where is the balance of power in mile-and-a-halves? Well, the other 3 mile-and-a-half races this year were won by Cup regulars. So when you start thinking about the chase, it's this duo from Joe Gibbs Racing that could have something to say about how it goes down in September, October, November.
And I think back to how Taylor Gray won that Kansas race. Yes, he had a fast car, but it was a call to be first on the pit road, short pitting on a long green flag run in stage 3 that got him to the lead, but then he held off a charging Sheldon Creed on older tires, was able to manage that perfectly to get that win. And tonight, though, this is just straight up raw speed. He's just faster than everyone. The way he was able to carve through the field in stage 1, get the lead here, and drive away from Chase Elliott, mightily impressive.
But Brandon Jones has been the fastest consistently on the track, not a lot, but if you look on the bottom of your screen, he's 3.7 seconds back, and Parker just mentioned the short pit. It's hard to short pit and make up 3 seconds. You can make up a second and a half or so. The lap time fall off, that'll be a 1 to 2 second or 1 or 2 lap short pit from those guys. But if Gray can continue to carry out that lead, you get a 3 or 4 second lead. You've got a lap or 2 in the bank of being able to stay out if the caution does fall out and be in the right position on the strategy.
Good night for Joe Gibbs Racing. Good night for Richard Childress Racing. Austin Hill 5th, Kim.
Yeah, Adam, I think this is the first time we've said his name all night because he's finally broken into the top 5. But this team, this 21 team, has worked diligently to get that car better all night long. Was not good at the beginning of this race. Too loose. He couldn't get the right rear to stick. It was very sensitive. Couldn't attack the corner. So they took a huge swing at the end of stage 1. They changed track bar adjustments, air pressure, pulled both packers. Still, that second stage was still free. Kind of came to him 7 or 8 laps in, but ended that run very free. Made some adjustments at the end of stage 2, and this stage, to start this final stage, Austin finally telling his team, this is the best we've fired off all night long.
Good to see from the driver that won a couple of weeks ago on the streets in San Diego. 75 laps to go. We're about 15 laps away from the window opening for green flag pit stops. Taylor Gray leads. .70 laps to go. O'Reilly Auto Parts Series racing at Chicagoland. Taylor Gray leads. Chase Elliott second, 3.2 seconds behind. And a little bit of a kiss here for driver 88.
Little wall tap right there off of 2. You noticed the Goodyear lettering was missing, and then a second time, watch this. This is a great visual. You're running up next to the wall and you just get a bit sideways and tap it. That's great. Well, then it gets a little harder right there.
Yeah, the good news is, though, when you're that close to it,
you can get away with it.
Yeah, they're not big impacts. Let's hear what Chase had to say about all that.
So don't need to save a ton, but we just needed 2 or 3 tenths better fuel mileage numbers for our fuel. Anybody wants to know how you feel about getting your fuel number?
Well, I'll be honest, I'm not saving a whole lot.
Wheeling caution lights are on.
Roll slow. Don't let it tear up the quarter panel.
For Connor Zilich, and that tire carcass bouncing around. First natural caution of the night. The only other 2 we had were for the endings of stage 1 and stage 2. And boy, does this caution come out at an interesting time because for so many, and it'll take a couple of laps before we get pit road open, but you're just outside the window, but you absolutely have to pit.
All the time. I got my bias all the way forward, my left rear shut off.
So I'm assuming that this happened from maybe getting the wall like we saw Chase Elliott there, and that's the risk you run is that body gets pushed against the tire and cuts it down. What Connor was referencing there was having his brake bias all the way to the front to try to tighten it up on the entry, and then also cutting off the left rear brake. You can do that with the lever inside the car. That teams give the drivers that tool to be able to make it tighter on entry when you use the brakes, but he was talking about how he was just sliding up into the wall.
Sheldon Creed had worked his way into the free pass position. He was like 5th in line of those a lap down when he made the unscheduled pit stop at lap 106. So he gets back on the lead lap here. Creed scored in 28th. That's the good news. The bad news is if they elect to come down here and get tires, that would be their last set of stickers. So we'll see how it plays out for them and how they manage the rest of their night.
Yeah, and for some of these, this could be pretty close on the field run, especially for those junior motorsports cars, which we just heard that radio when the caution came out of Chase Elliott's team telling him to save a little bit of fuel for their strategy. So we know that those Hendrick motors have been making a lot of power, but they've definitely been struggling in the fuel mileage category this season. And this is a little far out the window, especially for them.
Pit road not open gives us a chance to remind you the Whelen caution lights are on. What you're seeing on the track is the same Whelen emergency warning technology used by police, fire, and EMS vehicles across America. Trust it every day to protect those who protect us. I think about some of the exchanges on pit road tonight. And in that first cycle, Chase Elliott, 88 team, was able to take the top spot. They had the issue coming in that second round of stops. 54 team able to execute, get Taylor Gray out front. So big here to make sure you take care of business on pit road.
Here's what gets so interesting to me at this part of the race, if it runs green on out. And Parker mentioned it, the Hendrick engines make a lot of power, not great fuel mileage. But you've got a Toyota up there, you've got some ECR engines. There's going to be a pretty big discrepancy, and guys are going to have to make a decision. You'll have to make a decision early on. You'll run the first 8 to 10 laps hard, try to get separated, and then make that choice of, do I start saving now? Because you can't do it in the last 10 laps, so you'll have to make a commitment early on if that's your plan.
It's like when you got your cell phone out and you're like, I'm doing all this texting and I'm streaming and I'm checking my social media, and you got to save your battery, but you use it up so much early in the day.
Nothing left.
When you need the GPS to get home, you're like, wait, I'm out of battery. I don't have anything to work with here. Progressive Pit Road is open. Everybody coming in, Kim.
Including Austin Hill, said, I have to manage the right rear just a little bit, but he said, I don't want much. All the adjustments we've made have been good, so just a little bit more in that direction. Chase Elliott in that 88 car said, I think I went over the line and paid the price, so some of that's on me. Just needs a little bit more rear grip. Marty Lindley telling him, no, we will make another stop so you can go hard when we go green, Dylan.
Brandon Jones said his race car was 2 numbers loose overall. They made a chassis adjustment, 4 tires and fuel, just an air pressure adjustment, it looks like, for Taylor Gray. His report was that it trended snug. That seems to be a consistency from a lot of guys. The track's starting to add some grip here late in the going.
When you look at the fastest stops of the year, you point to Joe Gibbs Racing, and here they are again. 54 team hold serve as we look at the race off Progressive Pit Road. Brandon Jones in the 20 group, +1 come out right behind him. Chase Elliott, William Sawalich, Jesse Love, the top 5, +4 for Sawalich. The reason for caution number 3, tire carcass coming off the 1 of Connor Zillage. NASCAR on the CW is brought to you by Golden Corral. Golden Corral honors our nation's heroes. Progressive Insurance. Get in the savings lane today. Visit progressive.com. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Been a long day for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series on this July 4th from Chicagoland Speedway. But we've hit the final stage, and the racing has been incredibly entertaining. Taylor Gray is leading. Let's get a report on the guy back there in the 5th spot. Jesse Love down to Dillon.
Yeah, and there was lots of chatter after that pit stop of just how close everybody is on fuel and if they think they can try to make it to the end. Let's get some Starkey radio communication from the 2 team on what they think the strategy is moving forward.
You're gonna have to tell me if you want me to save fuel and abuse the clutch, or not save, or just run long gears.
Just kick it in neutral. Just whatever you got to do to save me some fuel here, okay? We're about, I don't know, 6 laps short right now.
I think 6 laps is worth taking a shot, though.
Yeah.
Some of these guys, though, have shown their hand and just basically said there's no way, just run hard because we're not going to try to save fuel.
And historically, the RCR cars are really good at stretching fuel. We know that from Austin Hill. And I think back to Watkins Glen, what put Jesse Love in position to be battling for the win in that race was stretching fuel further than anyone did in that race. So he has a skill at doing that, and that team and those engines do get good fuel mileage.
Saying what a lot? Scan the QR code to take a short free online hearing test. Now let's listen in to Starkey radio communication with the race leader, Taylor Gray.
All right, man. Everybody's close on fuel. Nobody can make it, including us. Just too many laps to save. So just keep doing what you're doing. Keep saving hard. If we get a quick caution or something here, goodbye is what we need.
How about Joe Gibbs Racing? We talked about their efforts on the pit lane. That 18 team has gained 11 spots since they had that penalty early in the race. Let's get an update. Corey Day, Kim.
Yeah, as we talk fuel, Adam Wall, the crew chief, say we're not going to even try. We are 10 laps short, so plan on either pitting under green or if we get a caution.
All Joe Gibbs Racing front row. Restart coming with 61 remaining. Taylor Gray in charge as the leaders hit the Poet restart zone.
Taylor Gray struggled on that last restart, ended up losing a couple of spots. You see Brandon Jones. Wow, great restart. Is he going to have the momentum at the right time, though? Down here in turns 1 and 2 is Love all the way to the top.
Look at this restart. Does he quite clear Taylor Gray? I don't think so. It's going to give Taylor the momentum down the back. Now it's a side draft into 3.
Brandon Jones inside, Taylor Gray outside, Chase Elliott right there with him.
That 88 car fires off so good. He's able to run that second line. He's going to make it 3 wide for the lead.
2 for 1. Are you kidding me on the apron? Here comes Chase Elliott, charging to the inside in the 88, and he leads once again in Chicago.
And he was finally aggressive, like we talked about, Parker. He was patient maybe early on, but not for the lead late. The 88 sailed it off in there, slid up in front of those guys, and got the lead.
Definitely not timid that time. At the right time when he needed it, went deep into turn 1. It's stuck, gets the lead.
Boy, William Sawalich had a handful. Sam Mayer trying to take advantage. Austin Hill will do it. Brent Cruz a part of the equation. And Justin Allgaier back in the top 10. He had that penalty earlier.
We heard the direction from Marty Lindley on Chase Elliott. He's like, look, 10 laps short, just go. From a driver's perspective, that's great. Like, I don't have to worry about trying to save fuel. I'm just gonna go out and go as fast as I can. If we have to pin under green, we do that. If the caution comes out, maybe it works in our favor. Tell you, Jesse Love's not saving any gas.
Well, I was just saying, the opposite side of
around the top.
The opposite side of that is what Jesse Love was instructed about, how they might be close enough to save some fuel to make it all the way. And that's a tough thing because you go through a restart like this where you just have to push all out 100%. But then,
Corey
Day way up the track. Gathers it up. Wow.
Parker Retzloff said, hang on, bud, coming through outside lane. 99's 13th. Little contact maybe. 19 Brent Cruz, 0 Cole Custer.
And you see contact there from Sieg. Got into the left rear. I think they got stacked up just a little bit. because of what happened off turn 4 with Custer and Brent Cruz, Corey Day paid the biggest penalty of everybody in that.
Taylor Gray staying right there with Chase Elliott.
Well, these two guys, they're running 3.5 tenths quicker than third place right now. You see Chase giving that little peek up in his mirror. You'll come off the corner, kind of judged off how you felt you ran the corner and see if you're getting away or if he's closing in. And I can tell you, Chase, it looks to me like he's closing that gap just a little bit.
He's seeing the same thing, and he's hearing it too from his spotter.
Chase has led 55 laps tonight, over 140 in his career at Chicagoland. That's the most at any track for him in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, where he is a champion. Got it done 12 years ago driving for Junior Motorsports.
I can tell you, listening to that on board, it's a lot of throttle coming out of the 88 car right now. Heard these guys have to work the throttle all night long with how slick the track is as the tires wear, but right now grip level is high. Lots of throttle in these cars.
And this track is seriously cooled down from where we started today. And it's just going to continue to gain that grip into the nighttime. You get the chances to work on that race car, make adjustments to make it better. And normally, as we get in these final runs of the race, this is when you go the fastest.
Justin's done a nice job recovering, had to go to the back. This is the issue on pit road, the penalty he received, but that right there is for 10th position, trying to get to the outside of Cole Custer. Oh, he seems sliding up the racetrack. Cole fighting back on the inside, but 7's got that momentum that you always have running the top side.
Nick Sanchez, 87. We talked about the scoring situation, thought they were a lap down, got their lap back. He's been productive, 15th. And Connor Zilic, who's had multiple issues tonight after leading wire to wire in stage 1, looking to get back inside the top 15.
Yeah, he'll definitely get the most passed cars tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the doctor doing a good job.
Doctor having a great night.
Yeah, Patrick Starpoli in the 48 looking good. Time to go full throttle with Sound Gear. Wherever sound is a problem, Sound Gear has the solution. Scan the QR code to learn more. It's soundgear.com. Turn it up. It's still July 4th in Joliet, Illinois, but if you're watching on the East Coast, we appreciate you staying up with us because it's Sunday morning out east. This race was scheduled to go green at 5:40 Eastern time. We had rain move through here about an hour before that. Had to dry the track, took a while, heavy storms in the Chicagoland area, but we persevered. We're going to get it in. Been a fun evening for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. 50 to go. The fourth quarter is here. Chase Elliott in front of Gray, Jones, Love, and Sawalich.
Oh, no way.
Wow. Back at Chicagoland Speedway, caution out for the 4th time. One car got away from Connor Zilic.
What a night.
I mean, just a yo-yo, right?
What a night he's having.
So I think about this. I'm really curious now, how do you handle it? Because there's 40.
So frustrating.
Yeah, we'll manage the caution first. But I just think about, you got a set of tires. You're well within your window, but 44 laps to go.
Yeah.
Caution with 20 to go, you'd love to put them on then, right? So, I mean, it's never easy on the pit box.
This is one of the hardest decisions as a crew chief in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series you will make all year, which is, do you come get these tires? Do you leave a set? For some of the front runners, it maybe gets made for you, but if you're further back, do you take the risk to say, hey, is there a caution with 15 to go? And you could have new tires when no one else does. This is one of the toughest decisions.
I think I'll take my chances right now, guys.
But it's had a green flag.
Give me 4 new feel goods.
Right?
Hey, well, call me in 20 laps when we got the caution.
The race trend says come get them and go.
Yeah.
Right? Garrett Smithley free pass. He's back on the lead lap as we get our O'Reilly Auto Parts pit crew view. Seth Chad working hard, managing the numbers, trying to figure out what's going to happen next. Maybe managing some air pressures.
Here's Connor.
Gotta wonder, did he have another flat?
Well, he talked about how loose this car was, and that's, I mean, maybe he'd already hit the wall and the tire was going down, but.
That's a classic case of something broke and it was called rear traction.
Yeah, yeah. That's one way to put it. He talked about putting the brake bias all the way to the front, and since vaulting away from the field in stage 1 and then running out of fuel, this has all gone the wrong way for this team.
He's back in 15th. 2-time winner this year. Incredible rookie campaign last year. Just missed out on the title. Mentioned earlier, coming off his career best finish as a Cup driver, running for Rookie of the Year at NASCAR's top level in 2026.
For everything that went right for Connor Zilic last year, buddy, it has all went wrong this year.
Yeah. But still, I mean, 19 years old, going to be 20 soon. So much in front of him. Just got to maintain.
Such a bright future.
That
Incredibly bright future. It's just going to be a blip on the radar one day.
Well, he did the booth with us, came up here at Nashville. What a delight. Just
great
super
guy.
Impressed. All right, green light's on. Pit road is open. And the call is to come down Progressive Pit Road. Look at that line, Kim.
Yeah, but it was a huge debate on the 88 radio. Crew Chief Marty Lindley thought originally it was too early to come and found if they came now and then got another caution when they were kind of stuck using their last set of Goodyear tires here, but ultimately he thought everybody was going to come, so brought Chase Elliott down. They'll take a little bit more of the adjustment they took last time. You see that chassis right there, chassis adjustment to get more rear grip, Dylan.
And Jones said it had more overall grip and was coming to him. Pit crew has been great. They'll need another great stop tonight. Taylor Gray said he was a tad snug, had built to that both runs in this stage, and Jesse Love said he was free into 3 but good into 1. They're going to make a chassis adjustment just to try to neutralize the balance.
Game's being played as we watch him come off. Ryan Sieg is the first off. Brandon Jones comes out behind him, and then it was Chase Elliott. So you plug it with fuel.
I love this call.
Save a set of tires. So you've got the track position.
Yep.
But if we do get another caution, you're in a spot where you can come down and get some stickers. We'll see how it all shakes out. We'll get the lineup and the restart when we return on CW. I'm looking forward to next Saturday. Not done here at Chicagoland, but we go to Echo Park Speedway in Atlanta.
We'll still be running.
Hey, I'm ready to get to Atlanta too.
Well, but I got to tell you what, coverage begins. NASCAR Countdown Live, 6:30 Eastern Time. This really is a fun
awesome
race. And I think back to the beginning of the year in that epic finish we had when Sheldon Creed got his first career victory. Join us next Saturday on the CW.
I think most people have watched the fireworks and they've come back in,
Yeah.
probably laying in bed, enjoying watching the end of this race.
You're still up with us. We appreciate
right.
you.
They're saying, why are they replaying the race right now? No, we're live. We're still here.
We've
Don't
been
worry.
here all day. Don't worry about it.
This is how we've spent all July 4th and 5th.
Look at this. I mean, the strategy for Matt Noyce, they come down fuel only. You get the track position. And I just got to tell, who knows how this is going to shake out. But Kim talked about Marty Lindley and the stress of, do you pit now or is it too early? They come down, get their tires. 39 still got a set.
I just love this call. You know, you look at where they're running. There's a massive amount to be gained here. If we get that caution in 20 laps or so, this is going to fall right in their hands to have an outsized day. This is a team that's a little bit below the Chase cut line. Coming in, they were 46 points out of the Chase. They're trying desperately for years now to get Ryan his first win. I love this call by Matt Noyce to just put themselves in a different position.
That call, I think, impacts Chase Elliott the most, because Chase Elliott was going to be able to line up on the front row, whether Brandon chose the bottom or the top. Now Chase is going to have to make a choice. You know, do you want to line up behind Brandon on whatever, or Sieg on whatever lane he chooses, or do you go with who you think is going to have all the speed? It's going to have a big impact on his race and the decision that he makes here. I'd love to know the mindset of what the 88's thinking on this restart.
All four Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas inside the top 7. You look at Junior Motorsports, Chase Elliott up there in 3rd. Carson Kvapil inside the top 10. Allgaier not too far back. Joe Gibbs Racing Junior Motorsports have combined to win 9 of the last 10 on mile-and-a-halfs in the O'Reilly Series.
If I'm Chase Elliott, I am hoping that the 39 takes the outside and forces Brandon to the inside, because the one thing we have seen the last 2 or 3 restarts when Chase has been, there it is, has been on the outside, is he has been able to work. And that gives him an opportunity. If the 39 can just get a good launch here, once they get to turns 1 and 2, it'll put the 88 in a little bit better position.
88's been in that position when he's racing guys on tires. Now he's racing a guy on old tires.
I think this is tough.
It's about the launch, though, for the 39.
That's it, big time.
Yeah, and it's all going to be up to Ryan Sieg and what he does here, and he's going to be at the mercy of that 39. That's a tough position to put yourself in. You really don't want to. So I don't know if this was the right choice, but we'll find out.
Yeah, and if you're the 39, knowing you're on a little bit older tires, you're going to make a little faster restart.
Yes.
You're going to roll a little quicker, because it's going to be harder to hook up the rear tires on this, and he just has to get rolling here. Hope he can get side by side with Brandon down into turns 1 and 2.
Going to be 38 laps to go when we return to the green flag. Mention the fact we're going to Atlanta next week. A couple of Georgia boys on the front row for the restart here. You'd love to win and come home with all that momentum, right, if you're Brandon Jones or Ryan Sieg. There's a Georgia driver in row 2.
I was going to say, wait a second,
that
there's
would
another
love
one.
to return home with a trophy. On board here with a guy from Dawsonville. The Poet restart zone awaits for Ryan Sieg and Brandon Jones. Green again in Chicago.
You see Chase giving a little helmet. Pretty good restart, though, for those guys.
Taylor Gray hopping out of line. There goes Elliott.
4 wide.
Pushing through. This is incredible on the restart. Brandon Jones gets the lead. Taylor Gray is there.
Chase knows how important it's going to be to try to clear the 54 right here to get some position as Love makes it 3 wide, or tries to.
Doesn't quite get there. I think Chase should have the momentum over the 54 now to have a big run on Brandon Jones here down the front stretch. There he goes to the bottom, inking that corner as short as he can to try to get up to the quarter panel and side drive. Doesn't quite get there.
He winds it up in the outside lane, dives to the apron at the start finish. Now he's working the high side again.
Well, the 88 is so good on new tires. He's good on the long run as well, but he just got to be able to run a little higher than Brandon and try to generate one of those runs Saw him do this on the last restart. See if he can carry that momentum. It looks to me like the 20 had a great corner right there.
You know who's doing a great job? Carson Quapple. Kind of laid in the weeds all night long, but he's 5th. Best running position of the night as we go inside of 40 laps to go.
Brandon Jones is doing an exceptional job right there, able to manage the front of this pack, holding Chase Elliott back, who we've seen be so good on all of these restarts.
On the right side of your screen, oh, we got one going around. That's William Sawalich.
Wow. Wheel and caution lights are on. That's number 5 tonight. And you think about Sawalich, who had worked his way to the top 5 and how important all the points are. He was 6th when he went for a ride. And here we are, points as they run. He's at minus 27. And we should highlight what his teammate has done tonight. Taylor Gray, who came in just above that cut line after their problems late at Sonoma, plus 56 because of all those stage points he's gathered up tonight.
That's a painful process that Williams going through right here with a flat tire.
Woo! Uh-oh, this is 2 teammates. That's Brent Cruz in the 19, goes up the track, gets in the left rear. That extension on the nose of the Toyota Supra there caught his teammate.
Did William maybe have to check up a little bit? It almost looked like maybe he's getting close to the wall.
Oh, yeah.
He did. Yeah, had to check up a
right.
little bit, I think, because he was getting out close to the wall. Cruz misjudged that a little bit, but inside of that, you feel like everyone's going to fire off on these new tires quick.
That's great observation. He did.
Oh, just a little bit, slightest contact.
And that's when that car's at its lightest.
Yeah, those are always interesting meetings on Monday.
Well, I got to tell you, they were already interesting because you had all 3 of those young drivers over there at JGR fighting for a chase position. Basically, 3 guys going for 2 spots, and now you add a little more to this dramatic situation.
And if you're Ryan Sieg, who was employing that alternate strategy of not taking tires, this was not quite enough laps.
Yeah, you'd let 10 more maybe?
Yeah, he wanted this a little bit later.
No, but if you're a Chase Elliott fan, this is what you wanted.
Absolutely.
It lets him reset and get to, restart on the front row and battle with Brandon Jones, Brandon was doing an awesome job. Got a great car here, and once he got out front, it looked to me like he was going to be extremely hard to pass.
Myatt Snyder gets the free pass. He goes back to the lead lap.
Adam, you referenced the Gibbs cars. Just seems like the longer this race goes, all of them have migrated towards the front. Like we talked about the 54 at the beginning. Then as this has went on, just all those guys just slowly creep into the front.
Well, what's interesting about it is they all had, their fair share of challenges tonight.
Yeah.
The 3 young guys hadn't seen the place before this weekend. And, Brandon Jones had tested here, and we know how good he is at the 1.5 miles and has the experience. But because of the way things worked out with qualifying being washed out and where they finished last week, he had to start deep in the field. So it hasn't been easy for any of them, but they've all come to play. And obviously Sawalich now going to have a hard time getting back into it late. 5th caution of the evening comes out when teammates tangle. Cruz, Sawalich get together. Jones, Elliott, Gray, Love, Quapple, the top 5. Going to get a restart here at Chicagoland Speedway with just over 30 laps to go. 7th and 8th prior to the choose. Justin Allgaier, Sam Mayer. That's significant because of what we saw out of them last week at Sonoma.
Yeah, there's a bit of tension building between these two as we saw it down in turn 7 at Sonoma. That's the 7 car going around. But it was what happened in the braking zone. You're going to see the 41 there. Sam Mayer clip his rear bumper and hit him. And Justin was not happy about this. Had a tough time in those 2 road course races. And this just pushed him over the line. Had a conversation with Sam after the race. Let him know his displeasure. And then tonight, they were racing tightly. Tried to clear Sam Mayer. Didn't quite get there. And they were around each other a lot. And then he had some words on the radio.
Kevin, as calmly as you can. I am done jacking with him. I will firewall the both of us. I do not care anymore.
Let's not worry about beyond. Let's just worry about the future.
That's wise words there from Andrew Overstreet, but a driver that feels like he's been wronged multiple times is going to want to let it be known. You have a massive points lead like Justin Allgaier has. You feel kind of invincible right now.
And they used to be teammates.
Yeah.
So let's just add another layer down to Dylan.
Brandon Jones is the race leader. His crew chief is Sam McCauley. Okay, you told me at the start of the day that you won't be in 29th for long. You were right. So now what's going to be the hardest part of holding these guys off?
I mean, the 54 and 88, they've both been really good, especially on the short run. So it's really starts with this choose and just executing a good restart. And I think from there, it's really just Brandon doing his thing. You know, this is kind of setting up like we wanted. Just got to focus on this restart first.
All right, their car has been awesome so far tonight. Just got to finish it off here over the final 30 laps.
How about the choose here? Brandon Jones goes high. Chase Elliott goes to the outside lane.
Wow.
Well, I mean, the 88's been getting it wound up.
Yeah.
Right? That puts Taylor Gray on the front row with his teammate.
And the outside has been the place for Chase Elliott, for sure. That's where he's been able to get to the lead multiple times. So feels like wants to be there now, even giving up a row.
Man, that's hard to do.
Yeah. At the front, you're taking an immense amount of risk. You know, the big risk is often where if you give up the front row, say you end up side by side, a caution comes out, well, now you've just negated yourself a whole row back by giving up the first row, you know? So if you don't get back there quick enough before the caution can pop right back out on a restart.
Man, it's gonna be fun to watch. See him, if he can get to the outside, give Brandon a little shove here on the initial start.
Well, if you're Taylor Gray, you're like, are you kidding me? I mean, I was going to have to come from row 2. I mean, I know the advantage of the outside lane, but the front row's pretty good.
And Chase has been good in the outside, and maybe he doesn't feel good on the inside. There could be kind of 2 things going on there all at one time, but his best shot at winning this is to get to the outside of the 20 and clear him on the exit of 2, or at least be in position.
Rows 2, 3, and 4 outside lane, all Junior Motorsports. It's an all JGR front row. Brandon Jones in control. 30 laps to go at Chicago. Nice jump inside lane, Taylor Gray.
Look at Chase Elliott, though. Going to get to the outside. Can he make it work?
Looking at 3 wide. Can't quite get there.
Taylor's so loose on the bottom. Jones is going to have the momentum on the outside.
Boy, we just had 2 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas get together. Now they're racing for the lead. They're 2 teammates. And there goes Taylor Gray grabbing the race lead from the inside lane.
Great job by Taylor to get the lead from the inside. Seen that outside be so good all race long. Interesting that Jones went right back to the bottom and gave Chase that first groove up. See what he can do with that, with a little bit of clean air. Lap times are just so fast right now at the bottom.
It's dominant. There he goes to the bottom. Chase Elliott has used this move a couple times.
He's not quite there, though. Almost a little fake out even.
28 to go. Elliott driving below Brandon Jones.
Man, that's a lot of throttle. You can hear him wanting to get back to it, but knew he was going to slide up. Now he's in a great position right here. Look at him get back to the gas. That car turning so well. Going to try to slide up in front of him right here.
Oh, it's so tight. Hangs on to it. Wow. Elliott, the a second, maybe. Brandon Jones not going away outside lane.
That was tight like 4 different times. The side, the front, the back. It was everywhere.
And look at
McMurray
Brandon
came
Jones
out of his chair in the booth.
And Brandon's fought all the way back to maybe clear down the back.
No, he hasn't. No.
This battle, it won't end. And Taylor Gray saying, thank you, guys.
Oh, slowly driving away right here as they're still going to be side by side. Brandon just has that momentum on the exit. Gosh, what a race between these two guys.
What's the anxiety level on the spotter stand? Oh, boy. Jesse Love is right there as well.
That's one of those moments you clear yourself. The spotter really can't do that. Chase looked in his mirror and thought he was clear, and then Jones had a little bit of draft. Gave him a tap. Oh, he's going to pack some air on him right here. He's frustrated.
And that forced Chase up the racetrack a little bit. He gets back beneath them, and now they're side by side. Once again, they will not quit.
You remember last year when we had playoff media day and we talked to Brandon Jones? He said, I feel like I have been laying back a lot in my career. It's time for me to go take. And we're seeing a little bit of that mentality right here as the 20 goes back around Chase Elliott.
Awesome job to slide up in front of him. Looked to me like he had a great set of corners right there. Able to clear Chase Elliott. We get a look back at, this is 3 or 4 laps ago when Chase slides up. Chase almost makes contact at the outside. And it's so close.
And this is a little contact at the most vulnerable place. Entry of the corner over that bump into turn 1. Got away with it.
See, the 20 just had that momentum on the outside. I think Chase thought he was maybe a little more clear than he actually was right there. And because of that, I feel like Chase raced him extremely fair when it was reversed, knowing that he had kind of slid up in front of him.
And now how much of their cars have they used up to try and go get Taylor Gray now, right? Like they were racing each other so intensely and sliding that they've probably used up a lot of tire and gonna need to find something to track down Taylor Gray.
Well, when Chase got around Brandon, he was 1.3 seconds back. And I'm like, okay, remember that to see if he can make a move. Brandon goes back by, and the difference now 1.9 seconds. So you do have to rest, reset, and now attack, and you only have what will be 22 laps to get it done.
Well, the last time by, Taylor Gray ran almost 2/10 quicker than those guys, 1/10 of a second quicker than Brandon Jones, and they're gonna have to search around. You watch these guys, they're all ran the bottom of turns 3 and 4, and now you see Jones go to the top. You're gonna have to search around for some grip, try to find some lap time. They'll be telling you what the leader's running, what you're running. If you're running 2/10 slower, you're just gonna have to move around and see if you can find some speed somewhere.
Quapple continues inside the top 5, but it's been a productive evening for Austin Hill. And that's big for Austin because he comes in 5th in points, and we were talking prior to the race tonight about the importance of where you need to be for the reset. Here's 21 making a move. Hill getting 4th away from Quapple, but the crossover in the return from the 9. And we have to salute Carson Quapple because this would be his 7th consecutive top 10 finish. That's as good a run as he's ever been on in his career. And he's been doing it in a different car every week. The 1, the 9. Think about what he's done in the 91 when he goes over and drives for DGM to complete the full season.
When he hasn't looked like he's had a great car tonight. In general, the 9 just hasn't had the speed some of those other.
Well, it's not going to handle good right now with the 21's nose packing air on the rear.
See Carson looking out that side mirror if he's going to be clear. See if he returns the favor right here. Goes in, tries to pack a little air on the 21. I think there might be a little bit of frustration between these two based on what Austin Hill did down in turns 1 and 2 the last time by.
It's a pretty common theme, it feels like.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't really these two that got into each other, but I just go back to San Diego when Quapple was kind of on the wrong end of it with Taylor Gray. And it kind of opened the door for Austin Hill to go on and get the win that Carson thought he deserved, right? So.
Carson complaining about the balance being loose. I'm telling you, in 19 laps to go right here, that's an eternity inside the car when the balance isn't good. And you can see all those cars lined up behind him. Brent Cruz Justin Allgaier, Cole Custer. His Cruz now goes to the inside. Looks to me like that 9 car is just hanging on. Oh, Britt's gonna try to slide up, and he actually does clear him right there.
Cruz showing plus 43. When you talk about the battle for the Chase cut line. A couple of good young drivers going back and forth here. And as Quapple goes back by, it's at plus 42. But anything north of 40 is good for Brent Cruz. Actually went to 41 there as they race for position. Look up there, Parker Retzlaff. Plus 78 with what will be 4 races to go to the Chase if he can hang on to another top 10.
So impressive and such a big year for Viking Motorsport to have a car into the Chase. You look at the organizations he's ahead of, Joe Gibbs Racing. It's so impressive.
Wheel and caution lights are on. Ryan Sieg. 6th time we've seen the yellow tonight.
Oh, right front just blew out.
Debris everywhere. He was 28th.
Well,
he had a bed. Yeah. Something happened to the right front.
Yeah, it left. Remember, he was on the alternate strategy there.
Yep.
Didn't take tires when everyone else did, roughly 40 to go. Was hoping to have one of those cautions maybe at the perfect time. Would have been right around now, actually. If he wasn't the caution, could have put a set of tires on that no one else really had. Be able to make up a ton of positions.
Well, we kind of touched on this earlier, but going, back to Echo Park Speedway at Atlanta next weekend, and that's about an hour from his hometown in Tucker, Georgia. And the first time we went there in the draft configuration, he was so close to getting a victory in 2022, and he'll be a player next Saturday night.
Sorry, mid-spin there.
The blown right front is from it being locked up as he's trying to catch the car. Just looks to me like he got loose. Then he's flat spotted that tire, and you could actually see the car just vibrating from how bad that was flat spotted. He drove it back to the pits fairly quick, and man, by the time he got to turn 3, it just exploded right here. Watch this. Boom. Oof. And once it comes apart, it just...
you got to tear off
the car.
You got to tear off being pulled away, tire exploding, debris flying everywhere. Free pass here goes to William Sawalich. He had lost a lap in that exchange when he had the spin from 6th. He scored 30th. You don't have any tires to do anything with here, but just being on the lead lap for Sawalich, when you think about the points, now he can go out, maybe pass some people and gain some of those points back that he lost, but right now showing 42 below the Chase cut line.
And to that point, this will be one of the toughest restarts of the race. You have older tires here now. You're trying to get the power down. We saw that worked well for Ryan Sieg. He was able to get a good launch when he was the only car that was on older tires there. But this will definitely be one of the tougher ones of trying to hook these cars up on the restart on older tires. You don't have a lot of experience with it.
A lot of big here too. Taylor Gray got the lead from the inside, but honestly, I think the outside's been a little bit better most of the day, so he'll have to make that decision. I was going to comment just before the caution came out for Sieg. I looked down at the lap times, and Brandon Jones was coming quick, 2/10 a lap. 2 or 3 laps prior to that was really cutting into the lead of Taylor Gray. So Taylor's going to know that. Brandon's going to know what he had. I think this also brings Love and Chase Elliott back into the equation. It's all going to come down to the launch on this restart and what those guys can do. And as Parker said, restarts on sticker tires are a completely different animal than what these guys have. Once you get 15, 20 laps on your tires, it just doesn't have the grip.
Well, and this restart going to come with right around 10 laps to go, Carla.
Yeah, Adam, and we talked about this earlier in the season, but it's crazy to think that we're into week 20 and still haven't seen an overtime finish in the O'Reilly Series. The last time was last October in Martinsville, where Taylor Gray got his first career win, so certainly something that Gray is possibly set up to do again. How abnormal is it, though? Well, since 2021, we've averaged 12 overtimes per season, and still a long way to go, though, for the record without an overtime. That was set in 2020 when we had a 26 stretch without extra laps added. But maybe that's a different story tonight, Ken.
Yeah, and let's talk about Chase Elliott in that third position before we see the choose. He just came on the radio and said, look, guys, this is the best I've been balance-wise all night. Obviously, we don't have control of the race, but I feel confident about the car on the restart, so we'll get it. And Chase is just loving these cars in general. After practice, he told the team, I think I'm going to ask to run more races. I'm going to reach out to Mr. H and say I want to do more of these. Loves these cars, loves how they race, and you have to think that if he got this win, that would solidify how much he's enjoying running in this series.
Well, I can tell you, watching where the 88's running under caution, I got a pretty good idea what he's thinking on this restart. And I want to say shame on Carl Metz for bringing up that overtime. We haven't had one so long yet. It's a sure way to jinx us into being here even later than we are.
July 5th on this time.
Right, that's what I was going to say. It's already July 5th in the East. We don't need to get there in the Central time zone.
The other interesting thing about what Chase Elliott's doing here is he's going up there to clean off those top lane, but then as he gets in the straightaway, he's cleaning those tires off and getting that rubber off of those tires. So he's doing two things under this caution to try and prep the track and prep his car, Dylan.
Jason Ratcliffe is the crew chief for Taylor Gray. They're the race leader. Okay, what lane do you want here on this restart?
I think we want the top. I mean, I think those guys regret giving him the bottom last time, but I feel like the 20 maybe spun him a little bit. I think especially with laps on tires, I think the top's what you want, but Taylor's done a great job all night. I think right now he's pretty motivated, so I don't think it matters which lane you give him. He's going to fight pretty hard for it.
Are you surprised at how good this car has been, or the progress you made as early in the race as you did?
Yeah, I mean, we were good in practice today, so I felt like we would be good, in the daytime. I wasn't real sure what we'd have at night, but obviously it's good at night as well. So, again, he's done a great job all day. It's been a lot of fun to watch.
It's been a great car for sure, just trying to complete the deal here for the 54 team.
Yeah, it's going to be a good finish, and I think about the last lap drama for that 54 team when we were out in California, Southern California, San Diego. Looks like he might win it, bump and run as Austin Hill goes by and drives off to the checkered flag. Then a week later, he's going to get a top 5 in Sonoma, really doing a great job, runs out of fuel, coming to the checkers, goes from 4th to outside the top 25, but they have responded tonight despite the fact that they have not had a great starting spot. He's led 55 laps and in control here.
And on that last restart where he got the lead from Brandon Jones, I thought it was maybe even close that he had jumped it. It looked like Brandon maybe spun the tires, but he launched so well on that last restart. We'll see if he can do the same from the top. Remember, that was on the bottom before.
Got his teammate to his left.
I think
got
Jones,
the man that loves the high side behind him.
Yeah, and I think Jones is in a vulnerable position right here. I know you want to be on the front row, but used tires being on the bottom is going to be tough.
11 laps to go. Taylor Gray in charge.
Oh, but Jesse Love was right there, and he goes to the bottom. 3 wide, 4 wide.
Gray tried to block inside lane. Jesse Love gets the race lead, but here comes Chase Elliott outside. Look at the 88.
He did it on the outside. He cleaned it off under caution, and then he goes to the lead.
We were 4 wide going to turn 1, pushing and shoving, and Chase Elliott going to grab the top spot. What a run.
What a restart. He mentioned the balance of that car being so good. Now he's got to manage this lead. He wants to see these guys run side by side as long as they can behind him. Let him get a little bit of a gap built.
10 laps to go. Brandon Jones wound up outside lane. Taylor Gray in control with a restart, has fallen outside the top 5.
Wow, that went horribly for Joe Gibbs Racing. Who's on the front row. They got swamped out into turn 1, but Brandon Jones fighting back. I think that was key to get by Jesse Love as quickly as he did so he can try and track down Chase Elliott.
These guys running extremely fast lap times. Even though they're on used tires, they have refired off here. The track's cooled down. Got a tremendous amount of grip.
Connor Zillett still making highlights. Scored 12th right now. Oh, my goodness.
That was Nick Sanchez in the 87 getting the back of him, who's had a great recovery to be in 13th right now.
Chase Elliott was about 1/10 of a second quicker last time by. This lap matched Brandon Jones perfectly right there. Both run the same lap time. You see Jones, he's searching, just trying to find some grip. If we go on that onboard at Chase Elliott, I'll assure you we can see his eyes. They're looking in the mirror as much as they're looking out front, just seeing where's the 20 entering, what lane is he gonna run? What do I gotta do to put my car in front of him? It might not be about running the fastest lap time. It could just be about trying to put the 20. Hear the spotter telling him exactly the lane that Brandon Jones is running. Their lap times are so close together. It's gonna be all about, oh, look how focused he is. Jones drives it in the corner, gets a pretty good run through the middle, pays the penalty on exit though.
And Brandon's just gonna have to find cleaner air to the nose of his race car.
It almost looks like Jones is actually a little bit quicker right now. Interesting to see the 88 run the bottom. Look at the momentum the 20's gonna have on the exit right here. Chase knows that. He could tell he had a bad corner.
Bigger run, one back, half back in line.
He's not gonna give him the top. He'll let him have the bottom right here, but he's not gonna give him the momentum. Chase goes all the way to the wall right here. We talked about having a little bit reserve. He's gonna commit now to the top, knowing the momentum that the 20 had.
And Brandon didn't want to be enticed to go to the bottom there.
Oh, crash.
Sarpoli, Kalsig,
7th of the night. And we just might get that first overtime finish.
Damn it, Carla!
They were racing outside the top 20.
Around here.
Kyle Sieg got damage. His best run of the year came on the 1.5 miles at Las Vegas.
Yeah, it's all left front, left.
Teammates from Alpha Prime were back there as well. LeVar Scott, Brennan Poole.
Well, I was looking out the window. The back of this pack was 3 and 4 wide for about 3 or 4 laps after that restart. It looked like chaos back there, so I'm not surprised. Late in the race, we got a caution here. We see them off into turn 1. That's Sarpoli in the 48. Kalsig, he just loses it, goes up the track. Ooh, catches Brennan Poole in the 44, and a little bit for there for LeVar Scott in the 45, the Alpha Prime teammates. Yeah, that's tight racing late. 48 was squeezing him, lost the air on the right side of his race car, and went up the
Brennan
track.
Poole had an awesome save
Yes,
right there. That went on for about 10 seconds, and he finally gathered it up off the exit of turn 2.
Front row seat, Anthony Alfredo. Saw Leland Honeyman Jr. 92.
Look at that.
Wow.
Hang on. Wow. That was awesome.
Oh. Yeah, Kalsig did hit both the Alpha Prime cars in succession there. Tommy Joe Martins didn't like to see that.
He did not.
He closed his eyes.
That looked expensive.
Yep.
What's going on, Dylan?
Well, we're just making our way down pit road here, so we found Marty Lindley, who's the crew chief for the 88. That move to clean the top off and then rip it through 1 and 2 was pretty impressive.
Yeah, man, Chase has done a great job all night. He's been on the wheel. Pleasure for us to have him drive our car. The Hendrick.com Chevy's been, it's been great all night, man. Just hope we can finish it off here.
Yeah, the 20 was making a charge there. What do you guys need to do to hold him off?
Yeah, just got to dirty the air up for him and hopefully hold him off.
All right, the 88 going for their 3rd win on a 1.5 miles this year.
Yeah, it's really incredible when you think about what Junior Motorsports has done, winning 3 of the 4.5 mile races. But in particular, this 88 team, Larson getting it done at Las Vegas and Texas, and now the door is open for Chase Elliott to deliver again for Marty Lindley and the team.
I tell you what, I loved what we saw into the last caution. The fact that Chase was up there cleaning the track off. You mentioned it, Parker. He's picking up the rubber there to try to make some grip, gets to the straightaway, cleans his tires up. It wasn't the fact that he did that. It was the fact that he executed it on the restart. Watch them go down here. He commits to the very top line. They're 4 wide, getting into turn 1. He commits to that very top lane. It's like, yep, I got it prepared, and here we go. Look at the momentum he's going to have on the exit of this corner right here.
Austin Hill saw him doing it and said, that looks fun. I'm going to try that as well.
Yeah, I mean,
suit right by all these cars as well.
Just a tremendous execution, and Chase has been great on the restarts all night long. He's going to be in a a great position here because most likely Jones will take the inside. I think Jesse Love probably will take the inside as well. But Chase now, he's going to be able to run almost wide open through turns 1 and 2, but he doesn't have to go all the way to the wall. So he's not going to have all the distance. He's going to have the clean air on the front of the nose. For him, it'll be getting out of the restart zone, getting a little bit of momentum. And he hopes they do make it 3 wide on the inside because that puts him in even a better place.
Confirming this will be our first overtime finish of 2026. And how about this? I mean, there's, a lot can happen here. And we know how good Brandon Jones has been. But I look at the position that Chase Elliott is in, and we've talked about the success of Junior Motorsports on the mile-and-a-halfs. But they've won 12 of the first 19 overall with 5 different drivers. If Elliott could win, they would match the record they set a year ago with 6 drivers going to victory lane in a single season. Reminder of the overtime rules: 2-lap shootout. If the leader takes the white flag under green, next flag ends the race. If the caution comes out prior to the leader getting the white flag, we'll reset and do it again. We get unlimited attempts. And just so everyone knows, we got 15 minutes to get this thing in under the wire on July 4th in the Central Time Zone.
Just saw this out the window. The 96 here of Anthony Alfredo on pit road. Hood up. It's having a good night for both Viking cars. Something was amiss in this race car.
I don't know what the noise ordinance is in Dawsonville, but I'm wondering if Chase wins if we get the siren tonight. He goes outside, Brandon Jones inside.
They're allowed, I'd assume.
Right.
This restart, it's going to be about the launch. It's about hooking up the rear tires, getting them cleaned off, all the 4 tires cleaned off the best you possibly can here. Hooking up those rears and then seeing if you'll get a push from the car behind you or if they're going to try and pop to your outside or the inside for these front row of Chase Elliott and Brandon Jones. You got to play offense and defense all at the same time through the restart zone and down into turn 1.
I'm kind of nervous right now, a little anxious about what we're going to see here.
Especially if we got another caution and push this into 12 at midnight.
Yeah, we're working on it. Front row for overtime at Chicagoland. Chase Elliott, Brandon Jones. Hadn't been here in 7 years. Going to get our money's worth tonight.
Jesse Love's been really aggressive on these restarts as well, and we've seen him even from the start of the race be able to run high on the restarts and make up a lot of ground. Chase is going to have his hands full managing Jones on the inside. I think Austin Hill could be Chase's best friend right here, hoping he can make it 3 wide, kill that momentum from the inside.
Overtime presented by Credit One Bank for what's ahead.
Wow, Chase ran a little early there.
Wow, it was good. He was such a big separation, the 2 behind him. It doesn't give a chance to get a run for Jesse Love.
Jones. Side by side, off the corner, Jones is there. Elliott not going away outside lane.
Brandon did a great job fighting back on the inside. It's going to be in a good position right here. It's going to be all about the momentum that Chase.
Oh, how deep did he go? Look at this, slide it up.
Brandon Jones coming back to the white flag. 20 in the race lead.
What a restart by Brandon Jones to be able to stay side by side and then clear him when they got down to 3 and 4.
He actually shipped it down into turn 3, was able to get there, but look at Chase out on the outside. Hits the wall a little bit, still had some momentum.
See what he can do down in 3 and 4. Can he generate that run around the top? He goes to the bottom.
Final time, turns 3 and 4. Outside Brandon Jones, inside Chase Elliott. A couple of Georgia drivers going after it. It's Brandon Jones, checkered flag at Chicagoland.
What a way to win. What an execution on the restart.
Excellent job.
Earn that. Merchant Cup guy. That's what I'm talking about. So proud of you guys. Brandon, great job.
And no offense to the other O'Reilly Series drivers, but what he referenced there, you know this one means a lot when you take down a NASCAR Cup Series champion and beat him in a head-to-head battle like that. What a drive by...
Love you all. Thanks for all the hard work, boys. It's been fun here to check.
such a weird restart.
Yeah.
The fact that they were spread apart, I thought that was going to play into Chase's favor as they got down, but Brandon was able to run so quick through 1 and 2, and then looked like Chase got a little tight down in 3 and 4 and washed up the track.
And Brandon, the move was driving it so deep down into 3, and he knew he was going to slide up, but when Chase also slid up at the same time, it fell right in his hands to be able to clear him.
Brandon Jones from Atlanta, Georgia, going home next Saturday night. And when he gets there, he'll have the momentum, having collected his 8th career victory and getting it done for the first time here at Chicagoland Speedway. 4 of his 8 wins have come on 1.5-mile tracks. That's 8 wins here in Chicago for Joe Gibbs Racing. That's the best, and the 70th time they've done it on one of these 1.5-mile intermediates. Good night for Richard Childress Racing. Put both their Chevys inside the top 10, and Brent Cruz, the 18-year-old, seeing another track for the first time and once again delivering a top 5 finish. But it's his veteran teammate who celebrates tonight. Brandon Jones gets it done. He tested here, had the knowledge, had the experience, did not have the starting position, but a team effort. Great execution on the pit lane. Outstanding restart in overtime, and he beats one of the best to get it done.
And Brandon Jones will celebrate with crew members out here on the start-finish line. You can see the excitement. Brandon Jones getting his first win of 2026. He has been talking about this race for the last few weeks, liking it to Kansas where he's had success. Brandon, wow, you muscled through that last restart, held off Chase Elliott. How did you do it?
I had to earn that one. I haven't had an exciting one like that in a long time. Thank you guys for sticking this out through the rain and everything. MD Building Supply, Menards, I'm so glad to get them back in victory lane. It's been an up and down year. We've had some success early on. We've been in a little bit of rut the last couple of weeks, so it's just nice to do it like we did today. I mean, we had to earn that one.
What does it mean not only to win at Chicagoland, coming back here for the first time in 7 years, but also to hold up a Cup Series champion to do it?
I think it says a lot about just how resilient we are and how hard we're working at this. Chase made it really difficult on me. He's one of the best in the sport, right? And so I knew he was going to be difficult. We were all on old tires. That was a blast to slide around and duel it out like that. I knew we had probably made the right adjustments at the end there. It was, you could tell people were starting to get a little bit tighter tonight with the temperature falling down and where the track was migrating. So awesome racetrack. You guys know I love these style of tracks. They fit me so well. So let's go on a roll and let's get a couple more here before the chase starts.
Congrats and enjoy it.
Thank you.
Brandon Jones, a winner here at Chicagoland on July 4th. Dylan.
And Kim, Chase Elliott led 78 laps, but has to settle for second. That last restart, you and Jesse, there was some separation between the two of you. Was that how you wanted it to go?
Not really, but I don't think that was the why we lost by any means. I mean, I know that he was planning on giving me a good push, and it was really at that point, I think, just about managing the old tires and just trying to get a good launch more so than it was about a shove. But yeah, ended up kind of having momentum going the wrong way into turn 3, and I tried to drive in really hard and got myself super tight. So yeah, super bummed about that, honestly. It was kind of an up and down night. Thought we got our Hendrick Cars Chevy a lot better throughout the night, and Marty and everybody on the 88 team did a great job of just kind of hanging in there and continuing to get better. So credit to Brandon. He did a good job. He had a good restart, stayed side by side through 1 and 2, and he had momentum going the right way to turn 3, and yeah, I got myself in a bad spot and paid the price.
Thanks, Chase.
How about this? The last 6 restarts, the leader failed to hold the top spot. Pretty remarkable.
Would have lost
when you
that
think
bet.
about
Yeah.
lane selection and everything that went in to this night. What a fun finish. we get overtime for the first time in 2026. And it's fitting on the 4th of July, we get fireworks at the finish. And it's Brandon Jones who delivers the grand finale, the burnout in the victory, his first of 26.